So today we're gonna focus on our
Mm.
health in our hands. I think it's great
Mm.
for
Yeah.
for people to share. So I think that's a great idea. I don't know if Kazakhstan is ready to share today, but if they are, I think it's great.
We already showed, and then we didn't have some changes after our last presentation.
Yeah, we haven't made any changing from our previous presentation, so
Mm.
we can just recap again and show it again if in sense somebody want to see again, you know. But honestly, we didn't
Or maybe
change
if you
any.
think if you have any idea that what you like to change, even without any written document, you also can share your ideas about what you have in mind about that change, and just share verbally without in writing yet until you make the change in writing. That's that also all right. Yeah.
So one of the other things I could do, I just looked at our folder and there aren't any plans put up in our folder. So maybe one of the things we could do is I'll create a series of folders. And we could do it three ways. I could call it Interactions PD, Water Quality PD, and Health in Our Hands PD, where I'll be very clear that it's the professional learning folders. And then the different countries can put their plans in for that particular, for that whatever one they're working on. And then, just make sure you put your name on and say Kazakhstan Professional Learning Interactions. Or the other way to do it is I could create a folder for each country, and then each country could put their plans in for the different units. But I think at least for me, it makes more sense to organize it by unit than by country. So I don't know what people think.
Probably the unit and the country within the unit, no? Like,
Yeah, I think the best way for the thing that makes the most sense to me is to here I'll show you. I'm just creating a folder real quick. So I'm going to share my screen. So this is our folder. I can put the link to it again. Everybody should have access to it. But I'll put the link in the chat box. So the link is in the chat box for the folder. So what we could do then is different countries could then go into this interactions professional learning plans, and they could drop in their plans. And so Kazakhstan could say Kazakhstan interactions PL plans, right? Or Vietnam interactions PL plans. That way each one of us have access to be able to see each other's plan. And I'll make a folder for each one of the curriculum. And that way people get to look at each other and share from each other, and we can really develop that way. How does that sound?
that sounds good.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah, it sounds
interesting.
good.
Yeah, okay. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go into our breakout rooms for about I'm going to stop sharing and I'll make the other folders. We'll go to our breakout rooms about now until quarter after. And then maybe Kazakhstan could then come back and update their plans for everybody. We can make sure that everybody drops their plans into the folder. And we'll move forward with that. How does that sound as a plan for today?
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay, so, and then, great, so let's go into our breakout rooms and get started. Remember yesterday what we talked about. So there's three things we're focusing on. One is making sure we have clear plans, clear goals. Then we want to know how we're going to accomplish that. And one of the important points that we raised yesterday is we have to get enough detail so that people can actually carry out the plans. So we want to make sure we put enough support, enough description of actually what will happen in a particular session so other people can actually carry it out. So we're moving a step forward, right? We're going to say what our goals are, what we're going to do to meet that goal, and we're really going to try to expand on how people are going to meet that, what will happen in that session. And we're also starting to outline the sessions, right? So how many sessions we're going to have and how long those sessions will be. So we're really starting to get more like daily plans with really clear descriptions of what people would need to do in that professional learning session. So that's where we are right now with respect to our plans. We really want to move forward in that direction to really try to create more clarity in the plans. Any questions or comments on that?
I have just question, Parinda, are you gonna join to our group or you're gonna listen later?
Uh, uh, if it's okay with you, but I I understand that you usually use your language in your room, right? Because of that, I don't want to disturb. How about you start first and let's do with the Joe's plan. You go into your room and working more on your plan, and I will looking forward to your presentation.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
doesn't matter. So can we go to breakout rooms?
Yes, Bren, you want to put us in breakout rooms?
Yeah, it's already open. You can
We're
click
going to
join.
breakout room. They're already, yes, you can start going into your breakout rooms. I'll give everybody out 5 or 10 minutes to get started, and then I'll join the breakout rooms. And I'll make the folders in the meantime. Kesra and Buren.
Yeah.
So how do you see this going? So we have 2 more weeks left. So they should.
Excuse me, can I interrupt a little bit?
Hi.
I'm sorry, I was disconnected. Can you please help me getting to a breakout room, please? Thank you, Tambourine.
Sure. You know, you could just go in and watch the. Well, she's okay.
Yeah, I think she might already join in the others room, right? With Brunei and Malaysia and Indonesia. Yeah,
What country is she from?
from Thailand.
Oh, she's from Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were asking about what's next, right?
Yeah. How do you? How, maybe you can tell me a little bit about
Yeah.
your vision.
Hello, Doctor. I think Dr. Burin was just.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, Evelyn and I, we were discussing on the Malaysians plan, the Malaysians PD plan. Well, I guess the others were listening because we don't actually properly have a complete plan as well as a proper proposals to actually present yet. It's just currently we're still working on, everyone is still busy, of course, that is one thing for sure. And another the thing is we do have some questions which we want to ask. Number one, how long are we expected to carry out the professional development session? I mean, is it 3 months, 6 months, or it's only a one-time session? Yeah, that's one question that we would want to make sure of. And secondly, do we have to carry out all the 3 modules or 3 units with the water quality, the health, as well as interaction module with all the same group of people, or can we actually means like this group of people can only take, is it just do the interaction sessions and the other groups can only carry out the health sessions and another can only take the water quality. Of course, anyone who is interested to take all the module and all the units is actually welcome. But basically, do we have the options to make that, or do we actually compulsory and make everyone, yeah, you have to join all 3. So that is 2 of the main questions that currently determine the proposals, the progress of our proposal.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter, for your questions. I have discussed, had an initial discussion with with Dr. Hanisa lately, and we plan to have a group discussion among the Malaysian team members, right? And I think this depend on the goal of the team, that how you view this project to be implemented, and also this might also be relevant to the stakeholders or the partner that you think should be involved. Right? So I think we plan, I think Dr. Hanisa plan to have a group discussion on Monday, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Dr.
maybe
Kesara,
Monday.
either
this-
Monday or Tuesday. It's
Yeah,
still between the 2. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we would like to make sure that the members feel comfortable about doing this work, and how do you like view this work to move forward in the alignment with also the government, right? How this work can benefit to a bigger picture of the country. I think so that your efforts will lead to a more impactful effort, right, to benefit others, teacher as well. So I think we can discuss about this, and even how we can mobilize resources to support the group, right? Because we yeah, we recruit based on the willingness of the teachers, and we highly appreciate that you join the sessions in the past maybe months, right? That you voluntarily join the programs. Yeah, but yeah, we would like to make sure that everyone get the appropriate support to make this to make your effort worldwide and more beneficial to others in the long run, so that it can be sustained. It not just only just one time session that you joined. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that maybe the question cannot be answered right now, but I think I would like to take participative approach in making the decision together with Dr. Hanisa as well.
Thank you, Dr. Kasara, for the information. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually seeing everyone also
Yes.
during the session, because in the first place,
Yeah.
as the Malaysian team, we actually didn't meet each other. We haven't met each other. We haven't actually interacted properly, as in one-to-one or something like that. We haven't got to know each other. We are only recruited. And basically working on our respective modules and learning from our respective modules. That's what we know of. And of course, the one that basically where we have to, the basics where everyone has to attend, like the modules where with the modelings and everything, a lot majority of us actually join that. So when it comes to our specific module, which is either the health, water quality, as well as interaction, that's why I guess Professor Joe wouldn't be able to see us coming in regularly, because we actually entered and already selected to enter on our respective module.
If you ask my opinion, I think you should form a team whose team members are very keen and with the strong background, like in the content knowledge in that area. And then you might form into like different teams, because I believe that the design of the PD based on your expertise will help you confident, right? Feeling confident about delivering that sessions, right? So yeah, I think that each team member does not need to deliver every modules, right? But you should, if you are able to formulate the team members in 3 teams, so that with their strong content knowledge and practices that they learn from Joe and others, yeah, they can contribute to designing the PD. Yeah.
I do agree, Dr. Kasara. Currently in our interaction module, 3 of us that are in the modules are actually chemistry teachers. So I guess it would actually be good enough, not the physics module, but yeah, kind of also being able to understand it to an extent and are able to properly deliver the module to the best of our knowledge, as well, to the best of our ability. So I guess for interaction module is there, as well as the other 3 modules are also respectively with their respective specializations. So I guess maybe we are in good team. It's just currently we are still having basically kind of on the dubious side, basically still on the confusing side, where is the directions of our PD going to be. So that is currently the one that maybe I guess we'll see each other on the Monday, and we'll actually talk a lot on our progress as well as the directions of our PD after this.
Yes, yeah, I think by discussing together, yeah, we can, like the team can, agree on the direction that what is best, for the team and for the country, right? I just would like the team and the country to benefit from this program as much as possible. Yeah, and then you can help contribute the ideas during the discussion on Monday. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure about the others that are joining us. If there's any opinion like Debbie and then Irfan, Farinda, or maybe Dwi.
Hello there.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Pran.
Hi. I'm from Thailand, and if you like, I would like to share what we've been planning at July in Thailand. So
Definitely.
from what your question you asked about how much of the unit that you should implement for us at July, we are focusing on how teachers understand and able to design the unit by using scientific modeling and scientific explanation based approach. And what we plan is we are going to train teachers who already have been teaching in STEM courses, and we will have everybody come together and have all of them walking through some kind of short activities from every unit, so that they can see what these 3 units are all about: the water quality, the interaction, and the health in our hands. And then we will have them design what unit they would like to go with, and we will separate it into a smaller rooms where teachers who would like to work on the water quality, or teachers who would like to work on interactions and the health in our hands can work together and designing and adapting the lesson and create their own that are most appropriate to their students. So eventually, we're not sure how much change they'll take from the original unit, but we hope that they will find a way to create a unit that fits the own needs of their students. Because in Thailand, our standard is very content based. So I think most of the things teachers need to cover the national standards, but at least they should understand the importance of the new approach. And I've been planning for the interaction unit for a while, and I'm trying to add more instructions into my plan. I'm not sure if I'm going into the right direction. Can I show it now? Do you have time for now, Joe, to take a quick look at what I am working on?
Sure, that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you. The last 2 weeks, Joe provided us this table to help us focus more on the learning goals by providing these questions, so that we can think about the specific learning goals. So I'm trying to typing down the professional development goal in here, and trying to explain what kind of activities I would like to use to achieve the goal, but I'm not finished all of the part yet. So for the interaction part, I will have 3 big activities. The first activity is I will introduce the scientific explanation and scientific modeling through the unit, by starting from engaging teachers to think about their prior belief and understanding. And I will ask these questions and have them respond in a Padlet. In your idea, what do scientists do and how they develop new knowledge? In your opinion, how important it is to support students to think and work like scientists? And what pedagogy you usually use to support them? And then I will have them watch videos. This is the context of Thai teaching. In Thailand, we support teachers to do inquiry teaching. but mostly we do the confirmatory inquiry. So it's different from how USA attempts to help students develop the model and the explanation. So I will find a video. One is demonstrating a teacher teaching in the classroom using confirmatory inquiry approach. And another video about a scientist working in developing an explanation to a particular phenomena, and have them discuss what are the differences between learning with confirmatory inquiry approach and the scientist's way to develop an explanation. With this question, we hope that teachers will think about what exactly scientists do, how they create explanation and use the modeling. And the second question is, how can we change our approach to help students to do better in scientific practice? Then I will have them taking a role as a students and doing the tape experiment from the interaction unit, because this experiment use only 60 minutes. And after they do the lab, I will have this debriefing question. What scientific concepts and skills you learn from the activity? How these concepts and skills important to the students? Is the pedagogy used in the activity different from pedagogies you use in your classroom? And what are the benefits and limitations of the pedagogy? And are the phenomena from the unit appropriate to your students, and how will you adjust it? And after that, there will be a follow-up lecture for 60 minutes. This lecture will clarify teachers about what scientific explanation and scientific modeling, and why are they important in science education. We will have a lecture on the pedagogy that needed, like examples of questioning technique and cooperative learning technique. And then will be the walkthrough the unit from the Concord website, so that teachers can see that how unit is designed coherently to connect each understanding to each activities through the unit. And after they understand all the unit and the scientific explanation and the scientific modeling, I will have the activity too, so that teachers can learn how to plan a unit that is based on scientific explanation and scientific modeling. I will have them think about what subjects they are teaching and what national standards and schools learning goals that the subjects are covering. And how do they think the use of scientific explanation and scientific modeling will support their students to achieve the standards and goals? And then I will have teachers work with the real situation that today's learner need the skills on developing the scientific explanation and scientific models, and how they will design a new unit to their own. I will use this activity. I call it Think Aloud Peer Problem Solving Techniques. By teachers actually has to work in pair, but they will start individually, think and answer to this question. What are the real life problems and situations related to static electricity and particle charge? What phenomena are appropriate for students to observe and develop models and explanation? And what questions you will use to driving students' curiosity? And then they will work in pair, acting as an explainer and a questioner. The questioner will keep asking questions, so that the explainer will think thoroughly about their idea, and then they will switch the role. And after that, I will have teachers work in pair, figuring out what phenomena that is most appropriate to Thai students to introducing this interaction unit and writing a draft of the unit. I think I will need a criteria and rubrics for developing a good unit right here so that teachers will have a checklist by their own to check if they are writing a good unit. And then I'm not writing the details about this yet, but I think I will follow with the peer teaching. And then after that, when they are going to the actual classroom, we will have lesson study where the teachers and the body can observe each other and adjust their plan. So that's the whole idea for now.
Sorry about that. It seems like you, particularly in parts of it, from my perspective, you have some really nice detail. I'm not exactly sure if you have the timing right. But it seems like you're progressing more along the lines that we were hoping that the groups would progress, like trying to break things down into much finer detail and tying it to an activity and the time it will take for you to accomplish it. So from that perspective, I really like what you're doing. It sort of seems like your end goal, I could be wrong on this, is for teachers to create their own unit. Is that the goal? And you want each, what I don't understand, you want each teacher to develop their own unit, or are they going to be working together to create a unit?
They will work together to create a unit.
And so what you want them to do is you want to have them create a unit that's similar to interaction, so they can make use of the interaction materials,
Yes,
but have it fit the Thai curriculum more closely. Is that correct?
correct.
And you want to make sure that within those, within that, you want to make sure that they include explanations and modeling. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. So, from my perspective, you're making is, again, I don't, if it's, as long as that's the vision of what the project is all about, to move pedagogy forward by introducing practices like explanation and modeling, I think you're moving in a fairly good pattern. I would suggest that you probably need more time in what goes into in supporting your teachers in how to create a unit, unless they know how to do that already. Right. So I would stress that a little bit more. The other thing that I would stress is the importance of helping kids see why what they're learning is valuable. Right. So that's one of the big differences between your confirmatory approach.
Mm-hmm.
You might say what's going on currently in the US, right? There's a big emphasis to support kids and saying, why is this important to learn, to create this need to know? So there's a real motivational aspect about what's happening when we think about teaching, right? How can we, rather than assuming that kids are just going to be motivated to learn, we try to create a situation where the students want to learn, right? So I liked your part in there where you're talking with the teachers about what are some good phenomena that they could use, right? So using those phenomena and showing kids, well, we need to explain this, is a good way to help show the value of what science is all about.
Okay.
So I think you're making that, as far as I can tell, you're doing I like how you're trying to break it down into smaller chunks. So to me, that's very valuable.
All right. Thank you.
Kesra, do you have any comments or questions?
Yes, I think that Dr. Brinda has made a lot of progress in terms of the detailed plan by each activity in the level, like 30 minutes, right? 60 minutes. I agree with you, Dr. Brinda, that it's great to see how teachers can realize the importance of these practices, the scientific explanation through the CER and the modeling. In my view, I think maybe I would like to ask you about the unit, how you identify the unit, maybe the unit that you are thinking about and the unit that we are thinking about might not be comparable. Is the unit and lesson plan, how is it different? The lesson plan for each lesson and then the unit plan, how is it different? In your
When
your
when we're talking about the unit, it means the whole big picture of the interaction. For example, from the Concord material, the units will conclude of about 5 investigation. So but for us in Thailand, when we talked about a lesson plan is mostly takes the time of only one lesson.
period,
For
yeah.
example, for example,
Yeah.
50 minutes or 100 minutes. And the lesson plans, including the plan that teachers think about what is the goal and what he has to do in order to achieve the goal.
Yeah, okay. I can share the experience in the past 3 years when we gave grant to faculty members from some university to develop unit. Yeah, it consists of maybe 5 lessons that is coherent in the concept and progress over time, right? It took them about, I think, a year to develop a good one, and also testing in the schools, right? I try to think about the goal that you try to achieve. I think even if they introduce new practices like CER and modeling, I think they will struggle a little bit because it's new, right? And I think if they can see first that how these practices can be successfully introduced to the classroom first and see the response reaction from the students, that what step that have to be taken to achieve the goal that they can make successful CER, right, explanation and the modeling. I think even these 2 practices in a good plan lesson that maybe you can pick from the one that Joe has that the project has introduced. I think that's very already challenging. This is my point of view, right? But to create the unit that they have to create, there are many aspects to not just only learning the practices or modeling. I think it needs a lot of skills set that it will take longer time. From my experience that we had with many universities when we gave the grant. So I think that is it possible? This is just my my idea alternative, that even with existing unit that they have to teach, can they enrich, enhance the existing unit through introducing these practices, right? And see the response from students and come back with the reflection that how they successfully implement those practices with the unit that they might have enhanced through embedding this to practices. This is just my opinion, because I think creating a new one is quite a challenging task. Yeah, yeah, I have some experience that may be different from the teachers that you have, yeah, but just would like to reflect on that. But
Thank-
rest, they look really great the way that you introduce the concept of the scientific explanation like a scientist, and try to let teacher reflect on that, and even demonstrating to see how they can deliver the lesson using a lot of good questions, right, to help students make a scientific explanation and modeling. I think providing constructive feedback to students about how they can implement these two practices. I think there are a lot there is a lot of room that they can learn to do it well. Yeah, this is my point of view. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I might said it not so clearly. By creating a unit, I did not expect students to create the whole new thing, but I believe that by using the materials provided from the Concord, it will be very useful. But because the unit that provided by Concord is large and connected with a lot of scientific concepts, so that unit cannot fit in one semester in Thai school. So they have to adapt it. Maybe they need to cut off some of the things. They may have to shorten the unit, shrink it down, and by that idea, I think they will write their own by adapting what's already have to fit the time they have, and the ability of the students that can work on the activities that they choose or adjust.
Okay, so you mean like adjusting the unit that that they have been introduced to fit in, right? Yeah.
Right. And there's one more thing that I'm not quite sure. What is this? The reflection for PD organizers. What's supposed to be in this column?
That's for like after. I always like to keep notes on how it went.
Oh,
Or-
okay.
Right, it's sort of like, so if I'm gonna do it next time, or even if you do the first day, you want to write some reflection about how it worked, because that might influence what you're gonna do the next day, right? It might cause you to rethink your plans for the next day. So I always like to have a place to focus on reflection so that you can keep track of how today went. Like, if you're introducing them to explanation, did the teachers understand did the participants understand all three parts? Do you need to go and focus on maybe the reasoning part the next day? So it's sort of reflections on how that particular component went. So it could help you making decisions either for next time or for the next day.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Parinda, may I ask that how many teachers do you expect to join, like to participate in this workshop or training sessions?
We plan to have about 20 or maximum 30, but then they need to come in pair so that they can do the lesson study when they go back to their school.
Yeah, that's so great.
Yeah, I like your inclusion of work. I like the idea of working in pairs, and also like doing a lesson study where they can observe each other and talk to each other about what they see. I think that's a really important aspect.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna pop in into the other. I was only supposed to stay for anyways, I'm gonna pop into the other in a couple of the other breakout rooms to see how they're doing. And then I'll probably call us all back together again, probably in 20 minutes, but I want to at least go see how the other breakout rooms are doing. So I'll be back. We'll see you in a little
Thank
bit.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you ค่ะ Thank you all
ขอบคุณค่ะ
ค่ะ
Hello, everybody. Wanted to see if you had any questions. You're fairly silent. I'm not
Hello,
sure what's
teacher.
going on. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello, could you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Lauren.
Yeah.
So do you have any questions?
So
the
for
plan?
the topic interaction,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have the expert in the subject attend today, so we cannot work for the topic interaction, and now we just do another topic, just modify another topic.
Mm-hmm.
Because the expert in physics they don't attend today, they are busy.
Mm. Okay. So may I know that you divide into teams, right? With content expert in each team. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you're saying that the team member whose content expertise in physics is not here today, right? So you will not present today. Your team will not present today. Am I right?
Hello.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any focus in interaction today. Because I could not work on that. It is in the physics subject. It is I also don't understand about physics.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And so what is your unit that you usually focus on? For you, do you select water quality or health in our hand? Which
Hello.
one? Hello, yeah. Which unit are you focusing on? Health in our hand or?
Yeah. I am
Okay.
biology and I focus in health in our hand.
Okay, yeah, sure. So do you have any question to Joe about the PD plan or anything?
Well, the only thing I would stress is that as we have about 5 more sessions left, we really
Actually,
want to.
we present yesterday and we got the comment and we just understand.
Yeah, I recall that you presented, right, yesterday.
Well, we really want to stress that you provide more details in your lesson plans and try to break it down by hour, right? So that we know what's going on. So as we move forward, try to get more details in your lesson plan and make sure you create a schedule about what will happen. Anyways, if there's no other questions for me, I'm gonna go to the other breakout room to see if they have questions for me. And then I'll probably, within about 10 minutes, we'll get all back together again and see if there's any questions or conversations, and maybe have a group or two share plans to see what we mean by getting more detail. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Они сами могут делать. Но главное, что долгосрочный план покрывает.
Ну, я не соглашусь. Я с Дарыном согласна.
Здесь,
вот так.
если,
КТП нам дают разве?
если КТП,
А
я
Джо?
Не
думаю,
считаю,
на
концерт
целый-
говорит.
если КТП
Вот
это на
телефон.
целый учебный год, а у нас юниты в определенных семестрах, зачем они будут на целый год что-то, да, растягивать? То есть
Конечно.
они найти сходство юнита с их программой школьной, как мы вот нашли.
Joe, are you here, Joe?
Yeah, Joe here.
I'm here, just want to see if you have any questions or comment. Don't necessarily disturb your work.
Actually, yes. So we have some problem with learning outcome. I mean, it's not a problem, it's a problem of definition of learning outcomes, lesson aims, long-term plan, something like that.
So we wrote the lesson aim here, indicated, let's say indicated, wrote lesson aim on a table with the like a cursive one. So, but it seems to us, it sounds like more learning outcomes rather than the lesson aim. Am I right? What do you
Well,
think?
this is what you want to hope to accomplish, right? So,
Yeah.
right, so in the lesson, or this is what you hope to accomplish. So for me, that's a goal, right? If you want to accomplish this, educators will be proficient in designing, delivering lessons that combine phenomena, blah, 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 and do critical thinking, et cetera, right? To me, that's an aim where you want to get to,
All right.
right? So that's a goal, at least. And then the question becomes, how are you going to get there? And how will you know that you got there, right? So there's always three part. What's the goal? I could ask you, what do you mean by being proficient? Right? So for me, what's unclear here is, what do you mean by being proficient? But to me, this is a goal, right? Educators will be able to do this thing, right? They'll be proficient in designing and delivering lessons. So that's your goal. Then how are you going to accomplish it? And then how do you know you accomplished it, right? Those are always the three parts that I think about.
Can I say that learning outcomes is more exact or more accurate parts of lesson aim?
You could put learning outcomes to be, maybe you could think of learning outcomes to be more specific. You could say something like, teachers, to me, then this is, how do you know? It's your evidence, right? So your learning outcome would be your evidence, right? So you could say that teachers will be able to design a lesson that has these features, right? So at the end, this is what you would have. You'd have teachers would provide you a lesson that has these particular features to it, would be an outcome, right? So an outcome is a little bit more specific, at least to me, than a goal. But I'm not an educational psychologist, right? So don't, what I really care about is, like, do you know where you're going, right? So tomorrow we're going to take a hike up to the mountaintop. And there's 4 paths. There's 2 major paths we could take. One is steeper, and it's one is much steeper, and the other one is more not as steep, right? So we got to decide, but we're going to climb the mountain. That's our goal, right? Our goal is we're going to get to the top of the mountain. And the question becomes, well, how are we going to get there? So then we decide on our path of how we're going to get there. And of course, we have to do other planning, like we need to know the amount of water we need to take along and the amount of food. But we have our goal, then we have our plan. And of course, in this case, how do we know if we accomplished it, we reach the top of the mountain, or we don't? So I like to just to break it down simply, but if you go into an educational psychology book, they probably have more specific definitions of it. But
can we say that learning outcomes is teachers will be if in the final of our course, in the end of our course, teachers can prepare some lesson plan, including these all units?
Yeah,
Can
it's
it
more
be-
specific. I would agree
Yeah.
with you, right? So an outcome is a specific thing, right? So, my goal is, I have a goal to earn $1 million this year. Right?
Or
Yeah, more
And
general.
I have to have a plan. That's not going to happen, of course. But just for a joke, right? That's my aim. My goal is by the end of this year, I will have accumulated $1 million. And then what's the outcome? The outcome is, in fact, I can see a steady increase in my banking account, right? And of course, I have to know how I'm going to accomplish that. So the learning outcome is actually what actually happens at the end.
Our final result.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Daron, we have another table. In there we have wrote how we're gonna accomplish the learning outcomes. Can you check it? So here, develop the series of short-term plans based on units and demonstrate the effectiveness of STEAM lesson according to the educational standards of Kazakhstan, and defending their final works, practice skills in their own lessons. So is it like a good learning outcomes? I mean, that to accomplish the goal, the first aim?
Right, but I guess what I would say, so that's a good what you want to see happen, right? But the question still becomes how you're going to do that. So what are you going to do for the 72 hours? What explicitly are you going? What explicitly is going to happen within that time period to allow you to have them accomplish and build those series of lesson plans?
Micro teaching can be here.
Let's say during
Is
their training, they will try to conduct the lesson or use that skill they have learned just on their peers in a group. Can it be there as a learning outcome? Like how are we gonna accomplish it? The way?
Yeah, so the description here is why do some things stick together? So you always want to have exactly what you will do during the unit or during that time period, right? So as long as they all fit together. So it looks like if I read this, the teachers are going to do the Scotch tape experiment. Is that correct? And in the process of doing the Scotch tape experiment, you're going to be able to discuss ideas like how do particles interact. But see, this seems because I know the Scotch tape experiment, it's to get at all these goals or these activities from the unit. I mean, I'm not exactly sure. They don't all necessarily build. This unit won't build toward this experience of the tape experiment. Doesn't necessarily get at all these ideas, right? So it's not going to get at how do particles interact to create different states of matter. It can start to get you there because you realize that things stick together, but it's not going to get you to how do particles interact to create different states of matter. It could get at what causes electric particles having an electrical nature and how that affects their charge. It gets at that. It's not going to get at how do atoms and molecules interact to form different substances. So I like all your questions. I'm just not exactly sure if the Scotch tape experiment gets to all of them.
Experiments, it's not all experiments. We just wrote one example. We wrote one example and forget about it.
I see.
Forgot. Yeah, forgot, but it will be to be continued.
So yeah, so it looks like, I like that you're thinking about your aims. Your goals and and what the outcome is. I think what we would like to see happen is more now very specifically on day one. How many total days are you gonna have for professional learning? For interactions, on day one, hour one, what are you gonna do? On hour two, what are you gonna do? Hour three, what are you gonna do? Right? So break the day down into various parts,
Yeah.
describing what you will do.
Let's
So
say,
that's what we'd
uh,
like to see.
I see. Let's say if our lesson consists or well, I forgot the
Contain,
word.
contain, yeah,
Yeah.
72 or
Consists
24
of
hours.
two aims from here. Let's say 8.4, and we should write down how we're gonna accomplish it. Like what kind of action they should take to accomplish, right? More in detail. And then
Right.
we will somehow conduct yeah.
Yeah, think of it as a lesson plan, right? So think of it as when you go into a classroom, you're gonna go and teach, you're gonna have a specific plan, like you have a goal or an aim of what you want to have accomplished that day. And then you're going to engage kids in some experience to let that happen, right? What is that experience, right? So so then you would outline it, right? So for instance, so if I want to help, to take a simple example, if I want to help teachers understand how to write an explanation, so my aim is to support teachers in understanding and being able to create and evaluate explanations made up of claim, evidence, and reasoning. That's my goal. So teachers will be able to support their students in creating explanations that include a claim, evidence, and reasoning. Then I would say, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to engage the teachers in an experience, let's say the Scott's tape experiment, where they're going to actually collect some data. They're going to make a claim based upon that data, and then they're going to support it using reasoning. So that's what I'm doing that day. And then how am I going to know if the teachers are understanding what an explanation is? Well, I'm going to look at, I'm going to have them share the explanations that they wrote and have each of the other groups critique them to make sure that all the participants that were with me that day understand claim, evidence, and reasoning.
I see.
So that's what you want to do in every. So, and maybe that takes me, an hour and a half, right? So I'm gonna, so I could break it down further. The first part is that the teachers actually do a hands-on experience. Then they analyze their data, then they write their claim. And of course, I told them what a claim is, that it relates one variable to another variable. Then they have to provide me with their evidence to support that claim, and then their reasoning, right? So I could break that down into different parts, saying that I'm going to have, the first 30 minutes they do the activity, then they're going to write an explanation for another 20 minutes, and then they're going to critique each other for another 30 minutes. So we're just hoping to break everything down into a much finer detail.
I see. Thank you. So to do so, we should break down our unit to the hours to more get specific, I guess.
That's correct. That's what we'd like, right? And we have, needs for interactions. We have 3 more sessions left. So I think or at least 2 more sessions left. So
Or 2 more, I guess, that only 2 weeks left.
Yeah, so I think we have 2 more sessions left. So getting much more finer in your detail as far as planning it. Often when we do our classrooms, it's pretty clear. We know we either have 50 minutes or an hour and a half. We already have that. That's our schedule. But when you're doing a professional development, you have to break it down, right? Because if you have them for 3 hours at a time or 6 hours at a time, what are you going to do with your teachers during each one of those time slots?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna close the breakout rooms and bring us back together, and I'm gonna actually have one of the other groups share to get more of a sense of how we would like to have this time period thing.
Okay.
Do you have any other comments?
No, thank you. It was helpful, Joe. Thank you very much.
All right. See you in a couple of minutes. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Да, короче, нам, чтобы дальше как-то
Mhm.
I just closed the breakout rooms.
Okay. So I think Dr. Belinda can share, right, about her detail.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her to share.
Yeah, it will give a good example to other team. When do you need to leave tonight?
Pardon?
When do you need to leave tonight? Do you have another meeting right away?
I have to leave. I have to leave here by 9:30.
Okay, maybe can we continue our conversation for another maybe 10 minutes?
Sure,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome back. It's good to see many faces.
So what I'd like to do is ask Perinda. I hope she doesn't mind. Is she here? Where is she? There she is. Hi, Perinda. I want to know if you could share your plans. You don't necessarily have to make it through all of it, but what I'd like to do is have everybody see the level of detail and how you specified a time with it, and then we could have a little bit of discussion about it. So what we'd really like to see going forward are sort of these detailed plans. So if you could just share what you've been doing, I think that'd be great, and see then if other people in the group might have a question or two for you.
All right. So in my interaction unit, I will have 3 activities to help supporting teachers to understand what is scientific explanation and scientific modeling, and be able to teach their students by using this approach. So for the activity 1 is the introduction to the scientific explanation and scientific modeling. I will provide them the engaging questions to have them think about the belief and understanding they have about how scientists work, and how important it is to help the students think and work like scientists, and think about the pedagogies that they usually use in their science classroom. And I will have them watch videos to compare the difference between the common confirmatory inquiry approach that usually Thai teachers do in their classroom and the scientist work. And have them discuss about the difference between these two approach, and introduce them to change the approach to help students do better in scientific practice. Then I will conduct
Brenda, can
an
you stop just for a second? So yeah,
yes.
what I like about this is, can you go back up to the beginning? So you see she has her big goal to understand the role of scientific explanation and scientific modeling in helping students think and work like scientists. That's her big goal. And then she has a series of activities that she's actually going to do to try to accomplish it. What the only question I would have for Perinda is, I don't know if it can all get done in 30 minutes. It seems this seems quite ambitious for 30 minutes, right? So your time thing is 30 minutes. And I really like the level of detail you provide. So throughout, but it seems like you want to think a little bit more about the time, or maybe that was just originally something you put down and you're going to change it. I don't know, but I just wanted to point that out, that I really like the level of detail that you have, right? So, and what I really like is how she's first trying to get drawing on the teacher's prior knowledge to ask them, because it's always important to activate prior knowledge. And so she's activating the participants' prior knowledge and asking them, how important do you think it is to support kids to think like a scientist? Is that what we're all about? And then she goes into some other activities to, can you scroll down? To really get them further to think. And I like this idea of showing videos of different forms of teaching. One is this confirmatory way. Is this what science is all about? Do science just go about confirming things? They know something and they just go do it again? Or do they really do more exploratory work? So what should inquiry in science classrooms really look like? So I like the level, of course, she has to find the videos, but I really like the level of detail that she provided. So if you could keep going through your plans.
So after the teachers think about the role of scientific explanation, scientific modeling, and thinking about how to change in order to improve students' understanding better, I will conduct an experiment from the Concord website. I'll choose the tape experiment, which is sounds easy to take, and it takes only about 60 minutes. At this point, the teachers will take their role like students learning from the unit. And after all the investigation is done, I will have a debriefing question so that they can think of the important role of the explanation and the approach. What scientific concepts and skills you learn from the activity, how these concepts and skills important to students. Is the pedagogy used in the activity different from pedagogies you usually use in your classroom? What are the benefits and limitations? And are the phenomena from the unit appropriate to your students, and how will you adjust it? With these questions, I hope that teachers will think of the way to modify the unit to help contextualize the unit to their own teaching context.
Okay, can I make a comment, Perinda? So what
Yes,
I like
please.
about, if you could go up to where this section, so I really like this section builds on the previous section. So that's one really important point, right? So you can see some coherence. In the beginning, she talked about the difference between confirmatory inquiry and more investigative inquiry. And now she's trying to get the teachers, the participants involved in doing more of an investigative inquiry activity by engaging them in the tape experiment, right? So and so she says very clearly the participating teachers will take the role of students by doing the tape experiment. Now we know there's a whole lot of other detail underneath the tape experiment, but we have that in in the interaction materials. So she's going to have the teachers, the participants do that. She's planned very clearly 60 minutes for them to do that, which is about the right amount of time for them to do that experience. I'm not exactly sure if they were introduced to CER before, so that might be a little thing that you need to think about. But then what I really like is that based upon that experience, she's actually very carefully, you want to scroll down a little bit, please? She very carefully thought about a series of questions that she's then going to have the teachers discuss that goes, and again, she specifies very clearly, this is going to take 30 minutes, right? So these questions are all related to getting them to think about the pedagogy that they experienced in doing the tape experiment and having them, discuss what's going on. What are the benefits of it? What are the limitations of some of these, of doing this kind of work in the classroom? So I like the level of detail, and I also like the coherence on how it builds. Okay, you can keep going.
Okay, then I will have a follow-up lecture. I will have a lecture on scientific explanation and modeling and why they are so important. So the key ideas is to talk about how to work like scientists and how this approach bring the deep understanding in scientific concepts. And I might talk about the pedagogy needed for this approach. For example, the questioning technique and cooperative learning technique. And then I will walk through the whole unit structure from the Concord website so that they can see the example of what is all the units about, how all the connection from all the investigations bring the deep understanding in each scientific concept and bring students to understand a particular phenomena. Okay, and
Right,
next,
so the only question I would have here, again, I'm not sure if you can do all that in 60 minutes. I would find it
I
really
know.
challenging.
I would like to have whole 3 weeks for this.
So you need to, so I like the detail on what you want to accomplish. Again, I just don't know if it's realistic in 60 minutes, right? So, again, good detail. But I'm not sure if 60 minutes is feasible to get all these. For me, just to support teachers, I really like your focus on using questioning techniques to support students in learning. But often when I work with teachers on just questioning techniques and promoting dialogue, that in itself takes 60 minutes if I'm going to have a learning activity related to it, right? At least 60. So it's hard to think about how you're going to possibly get in all these various aspects. So think a little bit more about the time.
Yeah, I think for us, I might have to work with another professors who work with health in our hands and the water quality unit. Some of the part might be we can share the same discussion, and it will reduce time if we pull the time together after teachers explore the investigation. I'm not sure yet, but I think I will figure out how to manage the time for that.
Okay.
And then I will have the activity 2, where teachers will think more about how to plan a unit. By saying plan the unit, it means the unit materials that provide in the Concord might be very deep and has a lot of scientific ideas and take a lot of time and may not actually fit in their classroom context. So have to learn to modify it. But by modifying it, they still have to use the core idea of scientific explanation and scientific modeling. So I will engage them to the teaching context by asking questions about what subjects they are teaching and what national standards and school goals they are covering in their subjects, and how do they think the use of scientific explanation and modeling will support their students to achieve the goals and standards. And if there need to help students develop the understanding and deeper understanding in scientific explanation and models, how will they adjust the unit? What phenomena they are going to choose that they think fits to Thai context? This is the technique that I use is some kind of cooperative learning technique. Is a think aloud pair problem solving by have teachers individually think about the question, the answer first, and then they will pair up with each other and acting one as explainer and another one is a questioner, and switch the roles. By having an explainer and the questioners, explainer will think more in details of what they plan, and later the pair teachers will work together and choosing the phenomena or context of learning and help each other in adjusting the unit and write their own plan of teaching.
So again, I really like the level of detail that you're providing in some of these particular. Could you just scroll up just a little bit? Keep going. So I just really like, stop here. Like these set of questions I think are really nice. What are the real life problems and situations related to static electricity and particle charges that will engage your students? And so I think that's really important because he's trying to really situate this in the Thai context. And so what goes, there might be other things in Thai that, you know, having the teachers think about this is really critical. So I really like this level of detail. What questions we'll use to drive students' curiosity. Of course, working with the teachers to help formulate good questions is going to be important too. So the only, once again, the only thing I would think about a little bit is the time. I think you had 60 minutes for this whole section. And once again, I'm not sure if that's sufficient, but I like how if you you had at least this section broken down into some time period, and then if you could scroll down. When you got to the next section, which is each pair of teachers presents their ideas on phenomena and driving questions to the rest of the group, you have that be another time period. So I really like that. And, you know, Kesra mentioned this before when we were talking, but, you know, to have teachers modify materials, you know, in 180 minutes might not be sufficient. That's only 3 hours. Yeah. I'm not sure you can create a lesson or much a unit in 3 hours. So anyways, I like the detail. The only thing I would do is have you think more about the time. Are there any questions for Prinda? They're very nice, Prinda. Thank you very much for sharing. I wanted to really get people to see an example of greater detail, and I think you've provided that. So thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you.
comments?
Can I ask? Yeah, I also have a question. Can you share again, please?
Sure.
About last point, yeah, here and driving questions. For example, each pair of teachers present the ideas. It's understand on phenomenon. Driving questions. Do you mean they will create some questions and discuss about it, or they will discuss what is driving question is?
Oh, they have to create questions. How to drive the motivation for the students to start the investigation.
And they will ask each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's like group work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Again, she put 30 minutes for that. I actually don't know if 30 minutes is enough time. You know, once you start discussing, sometimes it can go pretty quickly. So again, you're gonna have to play around a little bit with your times. I don't know how much total time you have. But again, I like how you're thinking about a particular activity and then associated with a particular time. And then there's also a learning goal that's associated with it. And as far as I can tell, by looking at all this, it all tends to build, and I really like the coherence aspects.
Another question I have. Sorry,
Okay.
but in that, how many hours totally are you planning for unit interaction?
That was
Or-
my question as well.
Okay.
Did
The
you plan?
yeah. Our plan at Chulalongkorn is quite different. We not separate each unit from each other. So we will have we will train teachers, and we will provide them walk through all the units, 3 units in interaction, water quality, and health in our hands. We plan that this activity, the activity 1 from each unit will take 2 days, like a short investigation from each unit, and have teachers see what's all the units and the materials about for 3 units. It will take 2 days. Yeah. And there will be
It's like advertisement.
about 2 or 3 more days for teachers to learn about how to modify and write a good lesson plan to modify the unit. So after all the teachers come in and everybody knows about all the units, teachers have to choose one. And when the teachers choose one, they will have 2 days to study and modify each unit. For example, if a teacher choose interaction, they will have 2 more days in designing by adjusting the material we have, and write down their own plan that already adjust, and then peer teaching. So we believe that it will take about 2 or 3 days more for that.
Are you going to divide teachers on groups? For example, part of teachers want to study interaction and another part want to study health?
Yes. Yes.
Divide on groups. Okay.
Yes.
Depending their interests.
Yes.
Are you planning a face-to-face course or online?
Face-to-face course.
For your city, right?
Yes. So
Teachers of your city.
for us, our PD will conduct with a very small numbers of teachers. There will be 20 to maximum 30 teachers, but they have to come in pair from each school, because after they develop a plan, they will come back to school and do the lesson study in an actual classroom.
This is a good idea.
Are they a staff member from the university? I mean, the 20 people, 20 teachers, or they're like a in service?
There will be teachers in school, in secondary school.
I see.
And how many what's the number of members in your team, I mean, who are preparing this plan?
I think there will be 6 of us.
6 of you for each unit or totally?
Totally. Totally.
So 2 for
then
each unit.
maybe some part that we stay together, and maybe 2 in each room when teachers separated.
Okay. So when you said 1 day, 2 days, did you mean 8 hours per day? From
Probably
9 to...
probably 6 hours a day.
Okay.
But I'm not well planned about the time
Yeah,
yet.
we also didn't plan it yet. So this is why I'm asking just.
So now from 5 days, maybe we will adjust it to 3 weeks.
Okay. We are planning to do 72 hours totally, so it means 24 hours for each unit, but 24 hours it's if you divide on our
Mhm.
work day usually 8 hours, so it's just 3 days, but we have two different types of groups. I mean, one of them is face-to-face and another is online, because we are planning to face-to-face for one city and online for all country. So this is why we have to think a little bit.
So
So
for
maybe
us,
we will have.
so for us, we will have a peer teaching in a small group, and then there will be a teaching in actual classroom and do lesson study. So we plan to have the lecture and the face-to-face seminar short, so that teachers can have time to learn from their experience, the lesson study, and then we will have a university lecturer visits and help feedback their plan during the time that they are teaching. But I'm not planning in details in this activity yet.
So how long the whole course gonna last?
One semester is about 4 months in Thailand. And usually the STEM science course might take about 2 or 3 hours a week.
In a whole month. So by 2 or 3 hours. So you're gonna conduct and teach the school teachers about whole semester. Am I right?
Right.
I see. So they will have time during the week to conduct their like a homework, etc., etc. Like get through the materials. If they will work 2-3 times per week, so they will have time to conduct their homework, go through the materials, explore, analyze. Am I right?
Yes, but the unit, when they modify to fit their school, it might be not the whole scientific concepts from the units. They might reduce some of them depending on the learning goals in their course.
As a whole unit is very long and big.
Yeah,
A lot of
that's a
information.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot of information. I think it will be reduced. Yeah.
But how you gonna deliver the knowledge from the interaction right? Interaction. They are like a 3 different subjects. If you gonna divide the teachers in small groups, what if they're gonna be one physicist only, or 2 physicists and no biologist, or no?
That the teachers that we invite to come into the program will be teachers in STEM. So they must have a STEM hour
Oh, I
already.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
So thank you. It was well designed and so deep. And
Yeah,
today we learned from you, Parinda. Thank you very much for
Thank
sharing.
you. Thank you.
Brenda, could you go back up to the top one? I want to just point something out to everybody.
To the top.
Yeah, I didn't realize this before. So go back to the first day.
Okay.
So what's interesting about this first day activity, I didn't get it before. This isn't only for interactions. This is going to be for everybody, right? So it's sort of setting up the whole professional learning is getting the teachers, the whole group involved initially in thinking about these questions, right? So I guess if you had a separate group of teachers for interactions, you could do this. But your plan is this is going to be for all the teachers who are, if they're doing it, if they try to do all 3 units or just one of them, they're all going to be together and they're going to focus on doing this part to reflect on their prior beliefs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
like
like a
that.
framework, right? Framework
Yeah.
for 3.
I'm sorry.
It's like one framework for 3 units.
Yes,
No.
they will separate at activity 2.
I see. Mhm.
Yeah, I like that you have this common thing that you're gonna use across. So I think that's very nice. I'm gonna pay a little bit of attention to time because I need to start my other activities. I do wanna, can I share my screen again, please? Can you stop sharing? And thank you very much, Perinda. That was
Thank
very, hopefully that helped everybody create a slightly greater vision of where we want to go. What I wanted to tell everybody, I'm just going to share my screen. Well, I don't know where it went to. Hold on a second. I got to just find it. Anyways, if you could, I'm going to share my screen now. If you go up, I think everybody can see this. If you go to our Thailand 2023, 2024, I created 3 folders, one for water quality, one for health in our hands, and one for interactions. And I think it would be great for the various teams to put their, remember, clearly name who you are so we can keep track of that. But if you could just drop your professional learning plans into these folders, then the other teams can look at them, and we can all grow and develop from each other. So please place your professional learning plans in these documents. So we won't meet again for the rest of, I'll stop sharing now. We're not going to meet for the rest of this week again, so we'll continue once again next week. I don't remember the schedule. I don't remember if it's Tuesday or Wednesday, Monday or Tuesday, but either one of those days is it Tuesday? Okay, so Tuesday we'll begin working once again. So I just want to thank everybody for your dedication. We're making progress. I'm also going to drop an example that I'll call Joe's professional development plans. I'm going to drop an example. I'll create another folder and drop some plans in there later today, so you can sort of see some of the planning I do, and then you can look at that as an example too. It's not with these 3 units. That's been my hesitation to share it. It has to do more with creating assessments, but nevertheless, you'll be able to see the level of detail I think is the important aspect. Okay, so with that, is there any last questions or comments?
Can you check permission, please, of folder? Because last time I couldn't put.
I cannot upload my file on your folder. It says I don't have permission.
Yeah.
I think, Joe, you need to click edit to actually enables anyone with the link to edit, not view only.
Anybody with a link? Oh, I see. Hold on. Editor. Okay, I think I just did it. So right now it says anybody with the link is an editor. I'll put the link back into the chat box. So if you want to, so if someone could try that, so Buren or Agama or someone tries it really quick, that'd be helpful, and just let me know. But I think it should work now. Anyways,
Which folder?
pardon?
Which folder? Interaction, professional learning plans, right? No,
Yeah, you should be able to get in there.
I get in there, but I should upload something.
Yeah, I think you should be able to upload. Oh, shoot, that's weird. Okay, I gotta go through and do each one. I
Okay,
gotta
let
go
this.
do interactions right. Hold on.
No, I'm uploading some. Yeah, I uploaded something.
Okay, that's good.
I will do it. Do you see?
Okay, you're done. Okay, that's good. Which one did you put it in?
In interactions group.
Oh
What
yeah,
was
I
that?
see it. It's there, yeah.
Yeah, interactions, professional learning plans there. Okay.
I think we're good. Everybody should be able to go in and
Mm.
but this is a letter of recommendation you put in there.
Yeah, it was the reason why.
It's not professional development plans, recommendation for a person.
So, yeah,
Okay.
it was the last thing.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of the week. And I will, if you have any questions or comments, just email me. I'll respond to your emails. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. So have a good week. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
Bye bye.
That's
Bye.
right.
Bye.
Thank you everyone so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, sir. Bye, Burin and everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.